Welcome to week 3 of 4 of my video mini-series on the psychology of change. Week 1, we focused on your readiness to change. Week 2, we talked about your habit tendencies. And this week, I'll quickly discuss how tying your goals to your core values is like rocket fuel for your motivation, carrying you from the title of starter to finisher. So the topic of motivation is frequently discussed in the context of change. Some, of course, like you've seen it, or it's been you join a gym or a training program, or you start therapy, or you start coaching, all because we desire a change. But change is rarely simple, and it's rarely a linear process. And part of that reason is because it's difficult to find and keep the motivation that we need to propel us continually forward. So research in this area is very compelling, and there is one large message, and it's this: that we need to move away from extrinsically motivated behavior and toward intrinsically motivated action that's truly in line with what's most important to us. So when I would speak or give a brief right before or right as men were coming to our assessment and selection program in the Air Force Special Operations Unit I worked for, I would give them an equation, and it sounded something like this: when your pain is greater than your why, it equals quit. So when our pain, psychological pain, physical pain, mental pain, relational pain, is greater than the reason we're doing that thing, we very easily can give it up. But upon completion of this grueling multi-day effort, what I heard over and over and over again is through their toughest moments, they would say they remembered their why and they were able to push forward. So first, let's hash out the difference between extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Then I'll give you an exercise to discover and label your core values, which will lead us into week 4, which will be an extremely powerful goal setting session. Extrinsic motivation is external, right? It means that behavior is motivated by things like compliance, punishment, pressures, or external rewards. You have a goal because someone else wants you to. It's as simple as that. Extrinsic motivation, that is what they call introjected, just means that it involves some kind of like ego involvement, some standards or rules. So you have a goal because you feel guilt or shame or anxious if you don't do this certain behavior. On the other hand, intrinsic motivation is different. It's internal. So there's 2 different types. When it's identified, it means that behavior is motivated by what's personally important to you and the things that you value. That's the exercise that we'll do today. When intrinsic motivation is kind of in its purest form, it means that behavior is motivated by your pure interest and enjoyment and satisfaction of that behavior. So you have a goal because you truly enjoy the process. And that is the motivation that is going to be most long-standing and serve as your rocket fuel to take you from just a starter to a finisher. So on to our core values exercise. Now, I've done this before, and I must say I didn't want to do it again today, but I did it, and it was still really powerful. Actually, I got more out of it than what I expected to get out of it. I did this about 5 years ago, and I've stuck with those core values, and I will say that they have shifted just a little bit. A small change in the label has really helped me reshape and fuel my goals for this year. So it's going to take you through picking out all the words that are important to you, then putting them into groups, choosing one word that sticks out for that group, and then you're going to add a verb. Now, adding the verb is the last piece of the exercise. Again, I will send this to you, so just shoot me a message. Adding the verb can take a little bit of marinating, so you don't need to do that part right away. But what I do want you to do is put your core values in the comments, and let's see how unique and different or similar they are.